Hey guys! Welcome to my channel. Today I will recap a movie called Uncut Gems, which was released in 2019. So let's get into it without further delay. So sit back and enjoy this amazing crime thriller. In 2010, thousands of people are working in an Ethiopian diamond mine when an incident occurs, injuring some workers and causing chaos inside the mine. During this chaos, two of the workers sneak back into the mine and steal a precious opal. In the spring of 2012, Howard Ratner ran the jewelry store KMH in New York City. He has 3 employees, and his business partner is Demini, who brings famous people like basketball players to his shop. He is in debt to many people, including his brother-in-law, Arno, who is a loan shark and is always looking for a big score. Arno sends loan sharks to his office. They take Howard's watch and some cash. He gets angry and calls Arno to tell him that he is going to close the biggest deal of his life. Meanwhile, in his domestic life, Howard has 3 kids and 1 daughter, and his relationship with his wife is about to end even though he also has an affair with his secretary, Julia. Howard is an addicted gambler, and he makes a bet with the last 22 grand he has while Arno's goons are still following him around. Demini brings famous basketball player Kevin Garnett to his shop, and when he is there, a loan shark gets into an argument with Howard's employee, but Kevin's bodyguards throw the loan sharks out. Loan sharks leave after threatening Howard. When Kevin is still there, the Ethiopian black opal that Howard has been eyeing for months finally arrives. Howard shows it to Kevin Garnett and tells him about how he saw this stone on TV a year ago and has been working since to get it. He tells Kevin how people say that you can see the whole universe in this opal. The opal dates back 110 million years and is extremely rare. Howard says that it is worth at least $1 million. He tells him that he got this opal from the African Jewish tribe. Kevin sees the stone and falls in love with it. Kevin says that he wants to buy the opal, but Howard tells him that it's set per auction and he cannot buy it. Kevin gets angry and asks Howard why he would show it to him if it's not for sale. Howard says that he just got excited and wanted to show it to him. Kevin asks Howard to let him have the opal for the game tonight as a good luck charm, and he can have it in the morning. Howard says that he needs to have the stone tomorrow morning to get it sanctioned for the auction. Kevin gives his ring as collateral to Howard and takes a picture with him. Kevin says that he will return the stone to Demini. Howard calls his son and shows him Kevin Garnett's championship ring from 2008. Howard goes to a pawn shop and wants to pawn the ring for $21 until Friday. After that, he goes to a restaurant and changes his original bet to $40,000. He bets on Garnett, saying that he will win the game tonight. He goes home to watch the game, but he gets into a fight with his wife and leaves the house. Howard then plans to go to the apartment where he keeps Julia. On the way, he finds that Garnett won the game, making him win his bet. The next morning, he goes to the auction house and waits for Demini to bring the opal, but when Demini comes there, he doesn't have the opal. He tells Howard that Kevin still has it and is practicing right now. Howard asks Demini to take him to Philadelphia, where Garnett is playing. They get to the facility where Garnett is playing, but Demini abandons him, and Howard can't get in. Howard goes to watch his daughters play, where he sees that Arno's goons are still following him. He gets angry, goes out to confront them, and gets into a fight with them. But instead, they capture him and take him to Arno. Howard tells Arno that he just won a bet and he is going to pay him back. Arno says that he knows Howard is making bets with his money, and that is disrespecting him. Howard realizes that Arno canceled the bet he made, and he lost $600,000. Howard tries to fight with them again, but they strip him and lock him in his car's trunk. He calls his wife Dinah for help, who comes and lets him out of the trunk, and he watches the rest of his daughters play. Howard then calls Demini and asks him to bring the opal to a weekend concert. However, when he arrives at the concert and asks Demini to give him back his opal, Demini once again doesn't have the opal. This makes him extremely angry, and he gets into a fight with Demini. After the fight, he finds Julia snorting cocaine and getting intimate with the Weeknd. Believing that Julia cheated on him, he confronts Julia and asks her to move out of his apartment. The next morning, Howard is on the phone with Anne, who says she needs the opal by night or she will withdraw it from the auction. Kevin shows up at his shop but can't get in because the shop's door is malfunctioning. He eventually gets in and wants to buy the opal for $175 grand. Howard says that it's worth $1 million, and he is tied to an auction. If he wants to buy it, he has to bid at the auction. Kevin gives him the opal and asks for his ring back, but Howard says that he doesn't have the watch yet because he has pawned it, but he will give it to Demini. When Demini goes to Howard for his watches, he discovers that Howard has also loaned them to him. An enraged Demini pours alcohol into the fish tank and quits the job. Finally, Howard has the opal back and is on his way to the auction house when he meets Julia, who says that it was a misunderstanding, but Howard doesn't listen. Howard goes to a family dinner where it is revealed that Arno is his brother-in-law, but being religious people, they don't like him very much. Howard talks to Dinah and says that he is having second thoughts and wants to work things out, but she laughs at him and says that he disgusts her. While returning to his house, Howard makes a stop at his apartment to check whether Julia has left and finds a note that says, "Have a nice life. I hope you find everything you are looking for." It is finally the day of the auction. Howard arrives and sees that they have changed the evaluation of the opal from $1 million to $150K to $225K. Howard wants them to change it back, but Ann says that Oscar is their most experienced gemologist and his estimate is correct. Howard argues about why he is learning about this on the day of the auction, but Ann says that he brought the stone on Friday night for an auction set for Monday morning. Howard gives up and says that, at this point, he doesn't care anymore. Howard's father, Gooey, also arrived at the auction, and Howard asks him for help. He asks him to bid against Kevin so they can get it up to $250,000, and if he accidentally wins, Howard will give him his money back. He assures him that KG will buy it. Arno and another loan shark, Julius, are also present at the auction. The bidding begins at $20,000. 3 people begin to bid at first, but when Kevin bids $100,000, only Gooey remains to bid against him. Kevin bids $175, and Gooey bids $190. Kevin's advisor stops him from bidding, and Gooey wins the opal for $190K. Howard apologizes to Gooey and gets the opal back. He promises to give him his money back, including Adley's 20%, and now Howard has to pay $38,000 from his pocket. Arno saw all of this happening and got extremely mad at Howard. They attack Howard as Julius punches him in the throat and throws him into a fountain. Howard gets back to his office and sends everybody home. Soon Julia enters his office, and when she asks him about the auction, he breaks down. He starts crying because, to him, nothing ever goes right. Every time he tries to make things right, he makes them even worse. Julia comforts him and shows him that she got a tattoo of his name. She tells her that she truly loves him and that she was just trying to make a sale with the weekend. It was just a big misunderstanding. He then gets a call that Kevin is still interested in buying the gem for $175,000. Howard's mood gets better, and he goes to pick up the Celtics ring from the pawn shop. He also calls Arno and lets him know that Kevin is coming to his office to buy the opal. He exchanges his Knicks ring for a Celtic ring. Kevin shows up at Howard's office and confronts him, saying that Howard is playing games with him and he could have taken the opal, but he gave it back to him. Then he showed up at the auction, and Howard again had someone bid against him. Kevin gives him $165,000 and gives 6% to Demony. Howard says that he respects Kevin and his passion, but things just got complicated. Arno also shows up at the shop. Kevin asks Howard how much he paid for the opal, and Howard says that he paid $100,000. Kevin confronts him, saying that he paid $100,000 to Ethiopian people for something he thought was worth $1 million. Howard says to Kevin that he likes to win the games with as many points as possible, and he also needs to make as much money as possible. Howard gets emotional and bets all the money on Kevin in front of him to make a statement. He messages Julia and hands her all the money from the window to bet on Kevin's game. He gets out of his office and tells Arno that all the money is gone, and Julia is going to place the bet. Arno sends his goons after her, but she is long gone at this point. They hang Howard out of the window and ask him to call Julia, but when they pull him up, he refuses to call her. Arno and the loan shark are trying to get out of the office and go after Julia, but they get stuck in the door booth, and Howard refuses to buzz them out. They tell their goons that she is at Mohegan's house. The loan shark was extremely mad as they had been following Howard to get their money for days now. Julia gets to Mohegan's son and bets all the money. If they win, they will get $1,229,000. Howard, Arno, and the loan shark are all watching the game. The goons arrive at the Mohegan Sun, but Julia succeeds in hiding from them. She uses an old, rich guy who is flirting with her. They win the whole bet as the Celtics win the game and Kevin scores 26 points. They end up winning the whole bet. Julia asks the rich guy's bodyguards to bring all the money to her car. As they win the game, an ecstatic Harold lets Arno and the loan shark fill in. As soon as the loan shark enters the office, he shoots Harold right below the eye. He also shoots Arno, and he starts to rob the whole store. Thanks for watching the recap. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you don't miss any content from us. Stay tuned for more thrilling and amazing movies. See you soon. Bye.